this is part 2 to our shelf unit inventor project. We're going to continue building the individual component parts, and we're going to add material properties to make them look realistic. So here is our assembled shelf unit. So we've made the shape for our top section, which is the same as the bottom one, and now we're going to look at the side part here, the side panel. So I'm going to create a new one, so new metric standard millimeters. I'm going to create a 2D sketch. Now in this case I want to make this in the correct orientation, so it's easier to assemble. So basically I'm looking at Y and Z there, so basically I'm going to do the side on, so I'm going to use that one there, and again I'm going to make sure that is Y is facing up the way before I start. So I'm going to create a rectangle. Now refer back to my sketches, so I've got the size I want here, so it's 150 high and it's 70 across, and I've got the spacing for my slots as well. So first of all I'm going to dimension that, so dimension tool 150, and also I know that is 70 wide. So that's the first part complete, so I can finish that. Now I'm going to extrude that to make it 12 millimeters, same thickness as the other one. Hit OK on that. Now I've got my basic shape. So again, I'll save this now. So I've got shelf top, self unit side. I'm going to call that so it makes sense. Sensible name. Now, when you save things, Inventor reorientates it the way it likes it, but I don't. I want to continue with mine Y up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate that around so that is the actual way that I want that to be, and hit escape to come out of that. To help myself with this, I can use, we go just near this cube, there's a little arrow there. You can set current view as home, fixed distance. What that means is when I'm working I can tumble this round, but if I want to go back to my original position, I hit the home button and now it's orientated the way that I want. So next stage is I'm going to create my second 2D sketch on the surface I'm looking for. This case I'm going to project, or use the project geometry button, and basically what that does is that allows me to select the edges of this rectangle. You need to hold down shift to select them all, and that allows me to when it goes yellow, that is that basically draws a line around the edge of my existing rectangle. So the next stage I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my rectangles for the through housing joints. So I've got one here and one here, and referring to my drawing, I can now size these. So if I look at my original drawing, I've got the acrylic at the top, or my render in this case, acrylic at the top, just 3 millimeters wide. Get back on here again. So I can dimension that rectangle there, so I want that to be 3, and I want this one here to be 1.2, which is the thickness of the galvanized steel. So similarly I can now dimension the spacing on that, which is 48, and also from here, which is also 48, and now I've got my rectangles in the correct position. So I can go finish sketch, that's gone back to my home position, and now I'm going to extrude out those through housing slots. So we'll look at over here, what in the completed one, what I'm looking at is basically there's little through housing slots which allow the material to slot into there of its joint. So extrude function, I'm going to make sure I'm selecting the area that I want. In this case it's the narrow bit. So that's poking out the way at the moment. So I'm going to change this depth to 4 millimeters, which is what I've decided before. And again I'm going to flip that around so that is going in the way rather than out the way. And now that is the basic so now we've got this complete. So save that. It's good time to save this. Okay, so next stage I'm going to look at is adding some materials to this. So up the top here we've got appearance, which is the material side of thing, and to the right of that we've got a click down menu which gives us a list of different materials that we have available. You've also got Autodesk material library and various options there. I've also got my favourites which I've set up already. So as you can see, I've already clicked on some random material there and it automatically updates. So the one I'm looking for in this case is I'm going to look at my favourites. So I'll click on appearance there, favourites are here, and I'm looking for my wood pine material. I have a select whole object. Can assign that, and now we have a wood-like material. Now, the thing that I'm not entirely happy with at this stage is that if you imagine when we create this, it's going to be one long piece of wood and it's going to be cut up into sections. But at the moment, that grain, the lines of that is going across the wood, and I would prefer it to be along the wood, so that would be correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that material, and I'm going to give it a second name. So I'm going to call this 90 because it's going to be at 90 degrees. If I double click on this, I can start to edit it. Just want this out of the way so I can see it. So make sure I've got the right one, 90. Now, what I want to do with this is I've got my material. It's got up here we can see this wood is called wood 2. I'm going to click on this arrow on the right hand side and I'm going to go edit image. Okay. I can drag that along. So the first thing I haven't done is I haven't assigned this, so I can't tell if it's doing anything. So select that again, assign that material, double click on it, click on the image, edit image, start rotating that around, you'll see that begins to update on the screen there. So I want to make that straight across, I'm going to make that 180. You've got all these other settings as well, so you can change the position of it as well. So it alters the position if you're not entirely happy with the way it looks. So that's that. So now I've saved that edit, and I can add that to my favourites as well. Add to favourites, and that means I can reuse that if I wish. So I've already got one in that name, so it's going to come down here. But now I've got, add to favourites. Now I've got my 90-degree one here, so I've got my standard one on my 90-degree one. But now you can see we have got a wood textured material, and that's ready to save. So go back to home, so right around, and I'm going to save that. So when I open my original top unit, which I didn't do the material for yet, same thing again, I've got that open. I'm going to select the materials. I've got my wood in my favourites, so I double click on that. Assign to material. Make sure the grains go in the correct way. And that is ready to go, so save that. So now we've just got the two shelves to make. So new, standard millimeters, create. I'm going to create a 2D sketch. I want this one on the top, so I'm going to select that one. Rectangle. From my drawing, I can tell that this is going to be 234 across and 70 wide. So dimension tool, 234, hit the extend button there, dimension for the width, which is the same as the other pieces, 70, finish that. Now I'm going to use extrude, and this time I want this to be 3. I'm going to click on my materials button. Now I've got one here called blue glazing, which is close to what I want. So select this, assign to selection, and this one is slightly transparent, which is what I was after. Save this piece now, save as, shelf unit, acrylic shelf. So this time, rather than creating a new one, I'm going to use what I have already, because it's more or less the same as the metal shelf. So I'm going to make sure first of all I save that as a separate name, so I don't overwrite what I've already done. So this time I'm going to call it steel shelf. Save that, and you can see that's been updated here. So to change this, it's the same width, same height. So basically it's the thickness that I need to change. So to do that, I can click on the extrusion button, and I'm going to change that to 1.2, which is the same depth I had. Same depth as the slot which was cut in the side. So last thing I need to do is select the object. So down here I have hopefully a different material, and this time I open it up. This is a metal effect one, and it has this effect here, which is created by a spinning wire roller around a drill piece. that simulates an engineered or a CNC type effect. And if you look at it closely, it shows that on the material holistically. Okay, so I can save that, and that is my my components complete.